Welcome to Asset Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sports and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Asset Television.
Hello and thanks for staying with us on Asset Television. Welcome to Issues of the Moment. I am Sunday. With me this morning is Jagdin Nali, a veteran broadcaster. Jagdin, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on Issues of the Moment. No gainsaying, there will always be issues.
Now, we are going straight to what happened in 1999-2000. Remember, in the Senate then, there were some crises that led to the removal, or you might say the suspension or whatever, of Kadibo. And these issues are trying to rear their heads this time again. For instance, we had a contract then of street light within the assembly complex, where at a point they accused the Senate president of using his veto power to award the contract. And Mantu came out to say it was anticipatory approval. You know, those things are coming again now through by way of a bill, of the executive bills that have been sent to the House and the Senate for ratification and
Tax reform.
the tax reform bill. So that tax reform bill is bringing out some issues now. We are going to give you an insight of what played out in the Senate last week, where Barau, Deputy Senate President, of course, presided and said that the bill had been withdrawn. Okpayemi Bamidele came out to say the bill had not been withdrawn, and even the Senate President came out to say the bill had not been withdrawn. Please watch the inserts.
We just passed our votes and proceedings. We have just passed our votes and proceedings, which is a reflection of our deliberations of the previous legislative day, being yesterday. Nowhere in our votes and proceedings was it stated that we suspended further deliberations on the tax reform bill, because we did not. And I felt it would be important to place on record that this Senate did not suspend or withdraw. I will address that later, sir. This Senate did not suspend and does not intend to suspend deliberations, consideration of the tax reform bills. As to withdraw, Mr. President, this is simply my response. It was a misunderstanding of the legislative process for anybody to have even reported that we had withdrawn the bills. The bills were executive bills transmitted to us by the executive arm of government through the office of Mr. President. It's only the executive arm that can withdraw these bills. They are not private member bills sponsored by any senator. So no senator is going to withdraw the bill. And there is no reason for these bills to be withdrawn. In the legislative process, it is normal that some people will have concern. It is normal that people will sit around those concerns and discuss. Any attempt from any quarter to intimidate the parliament will be undemocratic. And we will not allow ourselves to be distracted. But we will encourage consensus, we will encourage discussions, engagement at all levels. But we cannot be bullied into adopting a certain procedure. As far as we are concerned, the tax reform bills are alive in this hollow chamber. We just passed.
From your explanation, it will appear that Arise Television was totally misled into thinking that the bills were suspended or withdrawn by the Senate. Because I watched that news when the governor of Nasarawa was asked, now that the bills have been withdrawn, are you happy? The National Assembly, we were all elected to do our work. And that is the work of lawmaking in the overall interest of Nigerians. We do not do our work through social media, neither do we do it through any committee or congregation of the church, of any forum, or of any nature. We do our work according to our conscience in the best interest of Nigerians. Point of order, clearly explaining that the bills are alive, have not been suspended, the actions have not been suspended, the bills have not been withdrawn, and the bills have passed second reading in the Senate, and further legislative actions are taking place, including the setting up of this other committee. All those points are hereby sustained.
To those two inserts we gave to you, beginning with Kwemi Bamidele, who said it was the decision to even withdraw the bill is very, very undemocratic, and that they won't allow the Senate, the hallowed chambers of the Senate, to be bullied by anybody. Have you known that? By that alone, the previous day that Jibril Barau, the deputy Senate president, presided, had already been rubbished, because he also said it will not even enter, that the decision about that bill on that day that he presided will not even enter the Hansard. Well, have you wondered about it? So what do you have to say about this, Jagdin?
Well, as it were, parliamentary politics is often not what we see from the executive arm of government. We all know what the parliament stands for. The parliament, in my opinion, is the fulcrum of Nigerian democracy. Why? Because every constituency has someone representing same, unless, of course, as a result of death, or as a result of displacement, or as a result of by-elections yet to be held and what have you. That's the only basis upon which probably a vacuum will be created. But if you look at the events in the last few weeks, as far as the tax reform bill is concerned, it has been very contentious. Contentious in the sense that a lot of people felt more consultation should have been done. A lot of people are of the opinion that if these tax reform bills were to be allowed to go, some parts of the country will be shortchanged. You know, Barau did what he did because if you saw the backlash, most especially as the Senate President did mention, that followed his saying the bill has been withdrawn. If you see what happened prior to that time, you will kind of feel sorry for the guy. Why? Because parts or people from his constituency were not happy that he was somewhat even promoting the bill. Let's not forget that he presided and the backlash was horrible. But the bottom line is that I think it's about time we move on. Analysts have sat down and looked at certain clauses of the bill. It's not the entire thing that is somewhat not welcome, but there are certain clauses, and I'll leave that to the experts to discuss. There are certain clauses that if you see, some parts of the country feel you will be shortchanging us. In fact, we had a governor about 3 weeks ago who said if the tax reform bills is to be allowed to go on the way it is.
That's Bauchi governor.
Not Bauchi. It started with Zulum, I think it was.
Okay.
Borno. He was of the opinion that they may not be able to pay salaries. And then shortly after that, we had the Bauchi state governor come out to make his own submission too. There is no gainsaying that those who are experts in that field have come out to tell us that is actually the pathway to the reforms we are looking for. And you know, for you to try and reform a system, quite often it takes a lot. And hence, in my opinion, experts have said every part of the country stands to gain if this bill sees the light of day.
But some part of the north feels shortchanged.
That's the whole idea already.
Yes.
Yes. But you see, I think the thing is, it's a function of, okay, the VAT part of it. I think that is where really that problem came
exactly.
from. Now, they are of the opinion, or experts are of the opinion, that if for any reason, indeed, you are not contributing in terms of VAT in certain aspects, why should you benefit from it? And to be very honest with you, I think as a Nigerian, I truly and wholly agree with it. Whether we like it or not, this country, the mix is often quite more than we tend to appreciate.